What if I told you that we've explored more of the moon's surface than the ocean floor beneath our feet? And that right now, at this very second, there are creatures swimming in pressures so extreme they'd crush a submarine like a soda can, yet they thrive in darkness so complete it makes outer space look bright. The ocean isn't just deep, it's a dimension we barely understand, holding answers to mysteries that could rewrite everything we know about life, death, and survival itself. Hit that like if you're ready to plunge into the abyss, where physics breaks down and reality gets weird, because what you're about to discover will haunt your dreams in the best way possible. Here's the thing that'll blow your mind right off the bat. The average depth of our oceans clocks in at around 12,000 feet, but that's like saying the average human is 5'9". It tells you nothing about the extremes. The Mariana Trench, that gash in the Pacific floor, plummets to nearly 36,000 feet at its deepest point, called Challenger Deep. To put that in perspective, if you dropped Mount Everest into that trench, its peak would still be over a mile underwater. We're talking about pressures exceeding 15,000 pounds per square inch down there, which is like having 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of your body. Yet life exists in that crushing void, and scientists recently hauled up creatures from those depths that shouldn't be possible according to everything we thought we knew about biology. But here's where it gets personal, where this stops being some abstract science thing and starts mattering to you, me, and everyone we know. The ocean covers 71% of Earth's surface, yet we've mapped only about 20% of the seafloor with anything resembling detail. Think about that, we have better maps of Mars than we do of our own planet's underwater landscape. This isn't just some explorer's vanity project or documentary fodder. The ocean regulates our climate, produces over half the oxygen we breathe, and contains ecosystems so alien they make science fiction look tame. When we talk about saving the planet, or understanding climate change, or finding new medicines, we're essentially trying to solve a puzzle while ignoring 70% of the pieces. That's not just ironic, it's terrifying. Recent expeditions have been pulling back the curtain on this liquid mystery, and what they're finding rewrites the rulebook. In 2024 and into this year, deep-sea submersibles equipped with cutting-edge AI imaging systems have been documenting hydrothermal vents, spewing superheated water at temperatures that would boil you alive, surrounded by tube worms the length of a car, and bacterial mats that feed on chemicals instead of sunlight. These aren't just weird creatures, they're proof that life can bootstrap itself from chemistry alone. No sun required. That has massive implications for where else life might exist. Not just in Earth's oceans, but on icy moons orbiting Jupiter and Saturn, where similar conditions might lurk beneath frozen surfaces. Drop a comment if you think we're alone in the universe after hearing that, because I'm starting to have serious doubts. The technology pushing these discoveries forward reads like something from a cyberpunk novel. Autonomous underwater vehicles now cruise the abyss for months at a time, mapping terrain and cataloging species with AI that can identify new organisms faster than human researchers ever could. One recent breakthrough involves machine learning algorithms processing sonar data to predict where undiscovered seamounts and trenches might hide, essentially teaching computers to think like oceanographers but at speeds that make human analysis look glacial. A team working with NOAA just last year deployed sensors that can withstand those insane pressures while transmitting real-time data to satellites, meaning we're finally getting live feeds from the planet's final frontier. The footage coming back shows bioluminescent creatures putting on light shows that put Times Square to shame, gelatinous predators drifting through currents like living nightmares, and rock formations that suggest tectonic activity we never predicted. Now let's talk about the explorers themselves. Because this isn't just robots doing the work, humans are still crazy enough to climb into metal spheres and descend into crushing darkness. Victor Vesevo, the financial guy turned extreme explorer, has been funding dives to the deepest points in every ocean, and the stories coming back are absolutely wild. His team found plastic trash and candy wrappers at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, which is both heartbreaking and a wake-up call that nowhere on Earth is untouched by human activity. But they also discovered 4 new species of amphipods, tiny shrimp-like creatures that have evolved to not just survive, but dominate in conditions that would annihilate most life forms. Their cells contain special proteins that prevent crushing under pressure, and pharmaceutical companies are already studying whether those same mechanisms could help treat human diseases related to cellular stress. The deeper you go, the weirder it gets. and I mean that in ways that challenge basic assumptions about reality. In the midnight zone, starting around 3,000 feet down, sunlight becomes a memory. Below that, in the abyssal zone beyond 13,000 feet, darkness is absolute and eternal. Yet creatures there have evolved bioluminescence, biological light production, at rates far exceeding shallow water species. Why create light where there's no sun? For hunting, for mating, for communication, for luring prey into tooth-filled jaws. The anglerfish, that nightmare fuel with the glowing lure dangling from its head, is just the tip of the iceberg. Recent dives have documented jellyfish species that pulse with coordinated light patterns that might be a form of language, and squid that flash colors across their skin faster than any computer display, possibly communicating complex information in bursts we're only beginning to decode. Here's where your mind should start melting. Scientists now believe the ocean floor might harbor more volcanic activity than all land-based volcanoes combined. Underwater volcanic ridges stretch for thousands of miles, constantly creating new seafloor and belching out minerals that seed entire ecosystems. These hydrothermal vent communities exist in chemical environments, so toxic they'd kill surface dwellers instantly. Yet they're thriving population centers in the deep. The bacteria around these vents convert sulfur compounds into energy through chemosynthesis, forming the base of a food web completely independent of photosynthesis. That means there's a parallel tree of life down there, one that's been evolving separately from the sunlight-dependent world above for potentially billions of years. If that doesn't make you question what else we don't know about our own planet, I don't know what will. Looking forward, the implications of ocean exploration make space travel look quaint by comparison. Climate scientists are using deep-sea data to refine models showing how ocean currents act as planetary conveyor belts, moving heat and nutrients around the globe. Disrupting these currents through temperature changes could trigger cascade effects that make current climate predictions look optimistic. But here's the flip side. The ocean also represents our biggest potential solution. Researchers are studying how deep-sea organisms capture and store carbon, essentially doing the work of carbon sequestration that tech companies are spending billions to replicate artificially. Some marine bacteria can convert carbon dioxide into solid carbonate minerals, and if we could scale that process up, we'd have a natural carbon capture system that makes human technology look primitive. The race is on to understand these mechanisms before we lose species we haven't even discovered yet. Then there's the resource angle, and this gets controversial fast. The ocean floor is littered with mineral deposits, manganese and nodulus, rare earth elements, precious metals concentrated in ways that make land-based mining look inefficient. Companies are already plotting how to harvest these resources, but scientists are screaming caution because we have no idea what ecological damage deep-sea mining would cause. Imagine strip mining the Amazon rainforest before we'd even catalogued what lived there. That's essentially what we're considering with the ocean floor. Recent X-threads from marine biologists show heated debates about whether economic pressures will win out over conservation, with some arguing that regulations being drafted right now will determine whether we preserve or plunder the last great wilderness on Earth. But let's push into pure speculation territory. The what-if scenario that keeps oceanographers awake at night with equal parts excitement and terror. What if, hidden in the deepest trenches, there exists a form of life so alien we wouldn't recognize it as life at all? Not carbon-based, not DNA-driven, but some alternative biochemistry that evolved independently in those isolated abyssal pockets. We're talking about organisms that might use silicon instead of carbon, that breathe sulfur instead of oxygen, that reproduce through mechanisms we haven't imagined. Scientists have found viral communities in deep-sea sediments that are more diverse and strange than anything in surface waters, suggesting there's an entire microbial universe down there operating on rules we don't understand. If such life exists, it would revolutionize biology, offer new approaches to medicine and materials science, and prove that life's possibilities are far broader than our limited experience suggests. Picture this: a research vessel 10 years from now, equipped with AI submarines that can dive and return autonomously, discovers a massive cave system beneath a seamount in the Pacific. Inside, they find an ecosystem that's been sealed off from the rest of the ocean for millions of years, evolving in complete isolation. The creatures there have developed ways of processing minerals and generating energy that are orders of magnitude more efficient than anything we've engineered. Within months, Teams reverse engineered these biological processes, leading to batteries that last decades, water purification systems that run on seawater alone, and medical treatments that can repair cellular damage at speeds that make current medicine look medieval. The economic and scientific value dwarfs anything we've found on land, and suddenly every nation with a coastline is racing to explore their territorial waters. This isn't fantasy, it's extrapolating from what we're already finding in more accessible depths. The abyss stares back, and what it's showing us is that Earth remains wildly unexplored, dangerously underestimated, and possibly our greatest source of future breakthroughs. Every dive reveals something that shouldn't exist according to our textbooks. Every sample contains genetic material that could unlock solutions to problems we haven't solved yet. And every mapped square mile of ocean floor raises 10 new questions for every answer it provides. We're standing at the edge of a frontier that's simultaneously ancient and brand new. One that's been here all along, waiting for us to develop the technology and courage to explore it properly. This changed how I see our planet, not as a known quantity we're slowly degrading, but as a mysterious realm we're only beginning to comprehend. The ocean's calling with secrets that could save us, or simply prove how little we understand about the world we inhabit. Smash that subscribe button for more dives into the impossible. Drop your wildest ocean theory in the comments below, and share this with anyone who's ever wondered what lurks in the deep, because the answers we find down there might just determine whether humanity thrives or merely survives the century ahead. The depths are waiting, and trust me, what comes next will make today's discoveries look like the opening chapter of an epic we're only beginning to write.